Good evening, everyone. Myself is Suneel. I'll be taking your Linux administration session. My voice is audible. You are able to hear me?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay. So let me start with the session. So first, before I proceed with the session, let me just ask you one simple question. So this course is about Linux administration. So what do you know about the Linux? According to you, what is Linux? In simple word, you can just write it in chat box or you can speak on the mic. Yes, what is Linux? Because when we are discussing this course, we should be aware about what is Linux. This course is about Linux administration, which will be about like 32 to 35 days. Yes. Okay, I got one answer from Abhishek. Very nice. What about others? Pandey, Venkateshwara, Vidyasagar. Yes, can you just also write whatever you know about Linux? According to you, what is Linux? Yes, I'm waiting. Yes, Ranu Pandey, Venkateshwara Reddy, Vidyasagar, you are able to hear me? So according to you, what is Linux? Can I just get your reply? Then I'll proceed with the session. Okay, yes. According to you, what is Linux? Okay, I got one answer again from Pandey. Yes. Now, Venkateshwara Reddy and Vidyasagar, can you also just write your view? According to you, what is Linux? Yes, I got two answers. I'm just waiting for you people. Vidyasagar and Venkateshwar. Okay, whatever you know, you just write it. Okay, fine, no problem. And Vidyasagar, you are able to hear me? I'm audible to you. You can also just write whatever you know. According to you, what is Linux? At least you are able to hear me, Vidyasagar. Can you just reply so that I can proceed with the session? Yes, Vidyasagar, are you there? You are able to hear me? Okay, fine. So, as our friend Abhishek has said, Linux is an, you can say in simple word, Linux is an open source operating system. What is open source? We'll discuss. So let's first start with the what is operating system. Yes. So first, what is the importance of operating system? We'll see. Then why we are discussing the Linux? We'll see that. Then also I'll go through the topics which we are going to cover in this course, so that we'll get a clear idea about what are the things which we are going to cover in this course. So this course will be about like as I told you, 32 to 35 days. And the depth of the subject will be such that people who are having a gap up to 3 years also you can easily cover. For the fresher, it is more than enough what is required. So I'm telling you the depth will be such that the if anybody have a gap of 3 years also you can cover maximum. And this is your foundation course. So in this, all the syllabus of RSCSA, Red Hat Certified System Associate will be covered. Apart from that, some extra topic which is required to work in the industry, that also is added. So it is a combination of RSCSC syllabus. Some topics of RSC is also there. But our main focus is on RSCSC plus what are the essential topics required to work in the industry, that is added. So our friend Abhishek is saying my voice is not loud. Others also facing same issue, because from my end I kept it to maximum and I'm speaking loudly only. So others, is it very low? Okay. So just to give me a minute. Just a moment. Now, can you just check my voice is better? Is it good now? Is it good? Can I continue? Okay, fine. Okay, fine. See, I will tell you, this is the foundation course for the going to the next level, whether you want to do AWS DevOps, you need to know the Linux. Without that, you cannot work on AWS DevOps. So in this, the scripting will be not covered. Scripting is a separate course. As for the Linux, you will be knowing the more than what is required for the AWS. So it is been designed to make us work like a system administrator. So once you are done with this course, you will be eligible to work like a Linux system administrator. That much depth will be there in this subject. I'll go through the topics also. Okay. So now let us start with the first day session. So first, we should be knowing the importance of this Linux operating system. Why we are discussing this? What is the benefit of that? Okay. So now, most of the people in the world are using which OS? Tell me, according to you. Most of the computers in the world are working on which OS? Yes, there is no doubt about it. We are absolutely right, Abhishek Venkateshwara. Windows. So then, this course is about which OS? This course is about which OS? So most of the people in the world are using Windows, but this course is about Linux. So then naturally you will get this doubt. Then why we are discussing this Linux? Yes, why we are discussing the Linux then? So we have to remember that most of the computer in the world working on Windows, they are using that Windows. I'm not saying all, but most of them, they are using their OS for client purpose to work like a normal employees. Most of the servers in the company, you can check or you can verify with any person who is working on the Linux platform. I repeat, most of the computers in the world may be working on, yes, it is working on Windows, but most of the servers in the world, it is a fact, most of the servers in the world are working on the Linux platform. Why? Because Linux provide more security, more faster work, more features, more durability compared to the other OS. So the main issue with the Linux is that it's provide a very good security, faster performance. These are the main advantages. So apart from that, it is very, very secure. It's provide very good security and faster performance. And it is a open source. What is open source? We'll discuss that. This is the main advantage. So that's why most of the companies, their servers are working on the Linux. So most of the company servers are working on the Linux. So if you want to work on the servers as an administrator, you should know about the Linux. I hope I'm clear to others, everyone. So this course is not only will help us. Once we have done with this course, you will be eligible to work like a Linux administrator. Then our next goal will be like to work on the cloud. So for the next level also to move to the next level that is on the cloud, whether it is AWS DevOps, the SAP admin, or the VM technology. If you want to go to the next level, compulsory you have to know about the Linux. Without Linux, you cannot able to work on the AWS DevOps. You should know the Linux. So we will start this course from the foundation, fundamental. So if anybody is not knowing about the Linux, or if anybody is fresher, it's very good for them. Even if somebody knows already the basics, and if they want to have if they have some gap like 3 years, you can easily cover that much depth we will be discussing in this course. As I told you, this course is a combination of all the topics of RSCSA, Red Hat Certified System Associate, plus some important topics which is required, which will be essential in the industry, that also been added. I will go through the topics also. Okay, so let's first start with the operating system definition. So Linux, as you said, is an operating system. So what is the use of the operating system? Let us try to understand. Now, let's say suppose this is my system. I have purchased this system. It might be a desktop or laptop. So any system is a collection of hardware and software. Let us assume in that there is no OS. No OS is installed. Now I'm sitting here trying to use this laptop or the desktop. Can I use the system without OS? Can I use the system
No,
without OS? Can I use the computer without OS?
No, sir.
Yes, tell me, yes or no. Already I got one answer. But what about rest of the people? Can we use this computer without OS? I'm waiting for your reply.
No, sir.
No, we will not able to use it. So there has to be some reason for that. Yes, what might be the reason why we can't use this system without OS? So for getting that answer, one simple explanation or simple one example. Suppose I know Telugu example. Since I belong to Hyderabad, Telangana, suppose I know only Telugu. And you suppose, example, know only Hindi language. And we need to communicate with each other. So you don't understand Telugu, suppose, and I don't understand Hindi, suppose. How we can communicate? Tell me. If you are facing this issue, how do you tackle it? Yes. What is the simple and best answer solution for this scenario? Yes. I don't know other than Telugu. You don't know other than Hindi. How we can communicate? Simple answer. Yes. If you are facing this issue, how do you tackle it? Yes, I'm waiting for your reply. Can you please write it in the chat box, anyone? If you are facing this issue, what you will do? Very nice answer, Pandey. Yes, instead of learning the language or showing with some emotions or through the actions, you can simply look for one third person who can understand my language, Telugu, and your language, that is Hindi. Best answer. That is nice. Yes, Pandey. So everybody is following. So what is the solution for this issue? One, we should look for a third person who knows my language and your language. Yes, sign might be difficult. No, we cannot able to communicate properly. Something you can able to understand, but some confusion will be there. Yes, are you following, Vicky? Yes, the best thing is what? Mediator, translator. Do you agree? Yes, Abhishek is saying yes. What about you, Vicky? Do you agree with the translator option? Okay, fine. So everybody agree, no? The best thing for this issue is translator who understand my language and your language. Same way, computer consists of a collection of hardware and software. So I hope you already knowing that computer hardware understand which language, tell me. Computer hardware understand which language?
Binary.
Yeah, very nice. Binary language. Computer hardware understand binary language. Binary language means which is in the form of zeros and ones. And the software understand which language? Software understand which language? High level language, which is in the form of numbers, alphabet, special character. So high level language. So software understand binary language and this one high level language. So now can the hardware able to interact with the software? Can they able to understand each other? Can they able to communicate? No. So that is the reason we need one mediator between the hardware and the software. Who is that mediator now? Between the computer, hardware, and software. Who is the mediator?
Operating system.
Yes. I hope now you are understanding the importance of operating system. So any operating system is a collection of program. Any operating system is a collection of program. It's a logical thing, not physical thing. Any operating system is a collection of program which acts like a, which act like a interface or mediator. Any operating system is a collection of program which act like a interface or mediator. Interface or mediator between hardware and software, between hardware and software. So using this interface, we can operate the system. That's why it is called operating system. Are you following? What is the significance of OS? Why we require the OS in any computer? Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I repeat, operating system is a collection of program which acts like a interface between the hardware and software. So using this interface or mediator, we means human being can operate the computer. So that's why we need the operating system. So as we have discussed earlier, most of the computers in the world are working on Windows, but most of the servers in the companies, they are working on Linux. So if you want to work like an administrator, the very good scope is we can go for the Linux to work on the servers as an administrator. So that's why this course will help us to work like a system administrator. So not only that, once we are able to work on the Linux operating system, our next target will be we can move to the next level, to the cloud, AWS cloud, and after that we can go to the DevOps. So for all these things, the fundamental and basic thing is Linux. You can ask anybody who is working on the cloud, especially AWS DevOps, you need to have the Linux. Now coming to our focus, Linux. Coming to the Linux now. Okay, one of our friend Abhishek is saying, yes, if you want to go to the cyber security also, you should be good with one of the operating system. Either it can be Windows or it can be Linux. Because if you want to use the tools for security, you need to work on the operating system. The tools need to be installed on the OS. So your foundation always remain what? The OS. Okay, Abhishek.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let us concentrate. Our focus will be on Linux operating system. So let us assume in this computer, we have installed, say, suppose, Linux operating system. So as you said, Linux is an operating system. Which type of operating system? Open source. What is open source? We'll try to understand later. First, we'll focus on Linux is an operating system. So as any operating system, Linux operating system also is a collection of programs. So Linux operating system also is a collection of programs. So this collection of program is logically divided. This collection of programs of the Linux OS is logically divided into two levels, level 1, level 2. So level 1, level 2. So level 1, your main, so your level 1 program of the Linux program, level 1 program is called as shell. What is the first level of the Linux operating system? Level 1 program of the Linux operating system is shell. So whenever we open the terminal, default, what is the shell we uses in Linux? Bin bash. This is the first program file. So once we open the terminal, what is the default shell we uses? This is the name of the shell, bin bash. Now, the second level, the second program of the Linux operating system is called the Linux kernel, which is also called the core or the brain of the Linux OS. Okay, so what is the work of the shell now? So whenever we open the terminal, we'll get by default shell. So what happens? What is the role of the shell? So like in Windows, can we apply the command? Yes, we have to open the command prompt. In Linux, to apply the command, we need to open the terminal. Once we open the terminal, we will be using the shell. What is the default shell we uses? Bin bash. So now, what is the role of the shell? So first, what is the shell will do? Once we write the command, it will first check that command is correct or not. So first it will check the command. Command is correct or not. If it is correct, if it is not correct, what you will get? You will get the immediate message that command not found. If it is correct, if it is not correct, you will get a message command not found. But if the command is correct, then it will do what? It will check the user have the privilege to execute that command or not. It will check the privilege that user have the privilege or the permission to execute that command. If that user have the privilege, if it is not having the privilege, it will say, suppose the privilege is not there, it will say command permission denied or access denied. If that user have the permission or privilege, then it will convert, the command will be written in high level language. So computer hardware don't understand. So it will convert our command from the high level language to low level language. That is binary. That is to the binary. So now that will get converted. Now it will go to the, after converting, it will send it, the shell will send that command. Can we see the conversion? No, it happens in the background. If it is not correct, you will get command not found on the screen. If that user don't have the privilege on the screen, you will see access denied or permission denied. If it is not having the privilege, if it is having the privilege, it will convert. This conversion you cannot see. High level language to lower. binary, and it will send to the kernel. Now the kernel take over. It is like a brain of the Linux OS. So what it will do? It will decide, it will control and manage. It will control and manage. Like in our body, which particular part of the body should do what work in which scenario, it is decided, control and managed by our brain. So same way, our Linux kernel will control and manage all the tasks, which task should be done by which particular hardware or the software. It will be decided. So main task will be done by whom? Our processor. So the kernel will send that to the processor. The task will be done with the help of the our computer hardware and software. So once the task is done, the output is in binary form. So can we understand the output in binary form? No. So then the kernel will send the output again back. The output now, it will send it back to the output. It will send it back to the shell. Output, it will send it to the output. To the output, it will send it in binary format. Now what the shell will do? It will convert output from binary. It will convert the output from binary. It will convert from binary to high level language and displays on the screen. So this is what happens when we use the Linux OS. So did you got some idea now what the role of the shell and what is the role of the kernel? Is that clear to everyone? Yes, whether I'm clear to everyone. Have you understood up to this?
So shell is clear, but kernel is, I have a doubt on kernel.
Yes, ask what is your doubt?
So what is exactly kernel do?
See, I told you, what is our brain will do in our body?
Means that which part is doing what thing?
Yeah, so it will control and manage, no? Suppose I'm reading. So we will read with our eyes, yes? Now suppose
Yeah.
if I am walking, we will walk with our how to walk, where to walk, unnecessary. All this is decided within a fraction of second by brain. So if you are opening something with a screw, where you will pick up your working hand? Yes, in which direction you have to move. Brain is doing the work? No, but it will take out the work from which part should do what work, which work you are doing, which part should do, but which part of the body should do that work. It is decided, controlled, and managed by whom? In our body, who will do that work? Brain. So same way, once the task comes to the kernel, now what it will do? Our main computer part is what? ALU, arithmetic, control unit, memory, all these three is a combination of what? Our CPU, processor. So it will send that to the processor. The processor will do the task. Now output is available in binary. So what the kernel will do? It will send that kernel, the output, which the user cannot understand in binary format. So it will send it to the shell. Now what the shell will do when the input is given in high language, it will convert that to binary and send it to the kernel. Now the kernel output is ready, binary, it will send it to the shell. Shell, what it will do? Convert that output from binary to high level and it displays on the monitor or the screen. So did you understood?
Yes, sir.
Everybody, others also, did you understood? Okay, fine. So now let me go through the topics now, which are the topics which we are going to cover in this course, so that we can able to decide what are the things which you are going to learn is important or not to you. So I think you will be knowing this course fees is very reasonable, only 4,000 rupees. So, and the topics which we are going to cover, I'll show you now. So apart from that, I'll be sharing you, I have made 3 files. In one file, I have made a theory part of this standalone. In one file, I have made the network admin part, and in one file, notepad file, I have written all the practical steps from first day to last day with all the links. So these 3 things I'll be providing you so that you don't have to write anything. Okay. So I have created these 3 files, one practical, 2 theory file. I'll be sharing you with that. Now, let us go to the topics. What are the topics which we are going to discuss in this course? So that you can be able to take a decision whether this course is important to you or not. Okay. So this course can be done by anybody from any stream. Remember, first thing you have to remember, because I have been taking this Linux session so in small many years. Before you ask, I can tell you what are the commonly asked questions. So some people maybe from not engineering background, so they will have in their mind this doubt and confusion. If I'm not from the engineering background, can I do the Linux? The answer is anybody from any stream can do the Linux. And second problem or second question they will have, do I need to know any coding or the programming language for Linux? The answer is absolutely not. So the people who are not comfortable with the programming languages, they will come towards the network admin part or system admin part. Okay, administration side. So now let me tell you this course, Linux administration, which is about 30 to 35 days, in which this course content or this course is a combination of total topic of RSCSA, Red Hat Certified System Associate, plus what are the important uh, servers or topics which you should be knowing as an administrator. It is added in that. So it is a combination of RSCSA syllabus plus the important topics which is required in the industry. So now I'll go through the topics. So this course is divided into 2 parts, standalone administration and network administration. So in the standalone, our role is different. So to cover all the roles, you will be not doing all the roles in a company. The bigger the company, the smaller roles will be assigned to you. If the company is smaller, you might be doing multiple tasks. So whatever administrator will need to do, all the aspects we are covering in that. So first we'll start in standalone administration, uh, starting with introduction. What is Linux? That is tomorrow's session. Then structure of Linux. So if you want to understand or operate the Linux OS, you should know the structure of Linux and compare it. That structure will compare it with Windows. So that will be day after tomorrow, structure of Linux OS. Then next day we'll be proceeding with what? Installation of the Linux OS. If you want to work on the Linux, you have to install the Linux OS. So we are going to use in this course equivalent of RHEL 7, CentOS 7, because most of the servers in the Linux are working on RHEL, Red Hat. In Red Hat, most of the servers are on RHEL 8 or 7. So we are going to discuss this 7 so that once you know how to work on 7, you can easily work on 8 also. Some servers are on 8, but most of them are on 7. So whatever commands you are working on 7 will work on 8 also. Okay. So that is the reason we'll be discussing this course with CentOS 7, which is the equivalent of RHEL 7. So once the installation is done, we'll be discussing the basic commands. So I've just written basic commands, but we will be discussing these basic commands for 2 days, starting with how to log in, how to open terminal, how to check our working directory with PWD, how to change the directory CD, how to check the content with ls. Then after that, we'll be discussing how to create a file, text file with cat command, touch command, and editor. So most commonly used command in most important command to create the file in Linux is cat, touch, and editor. So all the three commands we'll be discussing. First starting with cat, then with the touch, then with the editor. After that, in basic commands only, we will be discussing. Maybe 3 to 4 days we'll discuss. After knowing how to create a file, we should be knowing how to create a directory, nothing but folder. So how to create single directory, multiple parental directory. Then after that, we will be discussing how to copy the files, directories from one location to another. What is the absolute path? What is the relative path? These things we will discuss in basics. After that, we'll be discussing finally in basic commands. When we know how to create files, directories, how to copy them, we should also know how to rename and delete them. So our last thing in basic command will be how to remove the files and directory with rm command. Then once we're done with these basics, we'll be going with what is soft link and hard link. What is the difference between soft link and hard link? So for important document in the real time, what they will do, they will create the hard link. So before taking the backup, so if you have the hard link, if our original data get lost also, if original data get lost also, if you have the hard link, you will not lose the data. So how to create the soft link and hard link, we'll be discussing that. Okay. Then after that, if you go to any interview, compulsory as a fresher or experienced candidate, they will ask you the booting process. Booting means loading of the OS. So whenever we install any OS, where it will be stored? It will be stored in the hard disk. So when we power on the machine, do you get the immediate login? No, it will take some time. So the OS will get loaded from the hard disk to RAM. So when the OS is completely loaded into the RAM, then we will get the login screen. So then we will get the login screen. So in Linux, the OS will be loaded in 6 stages. So we'll be discussing in booting process all the 6 stages: BIOS, MBR, grub, kernel, system D, run levels are target. So in which stage what happens, we'll discuss in detail, complete 1 day session. Then we will discuss in which run level, which task or which action will be executed. 6 run levels are there: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In which run level, what happens, we'll discuss. So these are all fundamental things. After that, as an administrator, we should know how to create a user. So we'll be discussing after basic things, how to create the user account, where their user information will be stored, what is the database file, how to open the database file with the filtering commands like head, tail, set, grep, find command. These all we'll discuss, and discuss the user database file, etc, passwd and shadow, in which what are the details it will have, and as the administrator, how we can modify that. So that we'll discuss in user administration. After that, we'll be discussing group administration. So what is a group? Group is a collection of users. Group is created to assign same permission to multiple users. So first we should know how to create a group. Then to which user we require to give same permission. So group is a collection of users. Group is created to apply same permission to multiple users. So to apply same permission to multiple users, we should know how to first. So see, I'm not taking any shell scripting. So I'm taking only the lives. Okay. So if you learn only basics, you may get a problem. I it is not only for my course. I'm suggesting you. You ask anybody. If you go with the Linux administration, it will help you for the higher courses. If you just know what is cat, what is ls, basic little bit, it will not help you. So then after that, we'll be discussing the group. Group is a collection of users. So group is a collection of users. So group is created to assign same permission to multiple users. So before we apply same permission to multiple users, we should know how to add the users into the group. So we'll be discussing how to add single user, how to add multiple users into the group, then how to make group admin, how we can change the GID. So these things we'll be discussing in the group. Then once we know how to create a user and group, then we will start with what? Applying the permission on users and group. So in Linux, we have three types of permission: basic file permission, access control list, and ACL. So all the three permissions we'll be discussing, starting with basic file permission, which is used to apply the permission on categories wise, owner, group owner, and others. Then to apply different permission to different users, we'll be using ACL. How to apply different permission to different users and group by using ACL. After that, we'll be discussing advanced file permission, in which again we have three types of advanced permission, which is also called special permission. Starting with what? Set UID, then set GID and sticky bit. Yeah. Okay. So after that, we will go to with this first part in the standalone will be our next part, how to manage our hard disk. So as an administrator, to manage the hard disk, what we need to do? We need to create the partition. So we'll be discussing how to create a partition on the hard disk. After doing that, we will be discussing what? After knowing how to create a partition, if you want to combine multiple hard disks or multiple partition size and do the resizing, we have to use what? Very important concept, LVM, logical volume manager. So we'll be discussing, after knowing how to create a partition, we'll be discussing how to combine the multiple partition into a single storage space through which we can do the resizing, increasing of our file system space using the LVM. For that, we need to create three components: physical volume, volume group, and logical volume. Okay. So after that, we will be discussing what is the advantage of logical memory, swap partition, how it will improve the system performance, that we will discuss. After that, we'll be discussing the RAID, different software RAID level, RAID level 0, RAID level 1, and RAID level 5. So which one is best RAID level 5? How to configure using MDADM? We'll discuss that. So with this, the disk management will be over. Next and last part in the standalone will be, as the administrator, we should know how to prevent the data loss. For that, we need to take the backup. So most important data is users data. So we'll take the users, everyday users data backup by using dump command. So we'll be discussing how to take the backup of the data using dump command. In that, 3 types of backup we will take: full backup, incremental, and differential backup. After that, we'll be discussing tar command, how to take the backup of the data using tar command by compressing the data with gunzip. Then finally, we'll see how to take the backup of multiple files in directory using CPI, copy input output. After that, last thing, scheduling of jobs, how to create a file or user or backup at a particular time using scheduling of job using the AT or cron tab. First, we'll see with AT, then same thing we can do with cron tab. Cron tab is better than AT. So with that, our first part will be over. Then we'll move to the second part. Also, we'll be discussing the process management, whatever task running in our computer, how to check it by process management. In that, there are several tools or command. Out of that, most commonly used command is PS and top command. So we'll be discussing process management using the PS and top command. खराब है वो बोर्ड भी 2 दिन नहीं चला, खराब हो गया. Okay. Then we'll be discussing the package management, how to install the application using RPM and YUM by configuring the YUM server. Then we will start how to assign the IP address and system name. Then how to take the remote desktop and how to copy the data from one machine to another. Telnet nobody is using. Then for sharing of the data, we have 3 types of servers: FTP server, NFS server, and Samba. All the 3 types of servers will be discussing, starting with FTP. So with FTP server, we can share only files on any OS, but not directory. With NFS server, we can share both files and directory, but only Linux to Linux. If you want to do the sharing from Linux to Windows and Windows to Linux, we use what? Samba server. Then after knowing how to configure the servers for sharing purpose, we'll be discussing configuration of DNS server, which will resolve name into IP name with the help of forward lookup and reverse lookup zones. Then we will be hosting the website using Apache web server and accessing that website by name with the help of DNS. And we'll be also discussing last DSCP, which will assign the IP address to the client. So these are the basic servers which will be there in every organization. So this is the combination of RSCSS syllabus plus what are the important topics required in industry that we have put together this course. So I hope now you got some idea about what are the topics which we are going to cover in this course. So if you have any question, any query, you please ask. Tomorrow we'll continue with what introduction of Linux, who designed this Linux OS, what are its features, why it is called open source. We'll discuss in detail tomorrow. Then day after tomorrow, we'll start with this structure, file system hierarchy standard. If you want to work on Linux, this is structure you should know. Okay. Okay. So before I close the session, if you have any queries, any doubt, you can ask. Yes. Okay. Nobody is having doubt? No doubt, anybody? So can I close the session? Okay. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.